Hello everyone, this is Cosomut. I've actually got a special little treat for you today. As 2014, as some people may know, is the 60th anniversary of Godzilla, King of the Monsters. I actually found this game, and it's a Game Boy Advance game called Godzilla Domination, I'm pretty sure. Um, yeah, but I played a little bit of it earlier, and I decided to do a video of it. It's a pretty fun little game. It's pretty bad though, but other than that, yeah. For those who don't know much about Godzilla, I'll just tell you a little bit about it now. Other than the fact it's gone for 60 years, it's spawned dozens of movies, and it's spawned an animation series and comics. You name it, it's practically got it. It's one of the great Japanese icons, really. Also done by a company called Toho back in the 60s. And a lot of the fans will probably debate on what generation is better because there's different generations and stuff. But I like them all, to be honest. I actually first saw them. I first started watching them about 2 years ago, so I'm only a recently new fan of the series. But I saw the '98 version, which was god awful compared to the rest. But that was the movie that got me into it. But it was easily replaced by the ones that I saw afterward. Like Godzilla Final Wars is epic as hell and that sort of thing. So basically, this game features some of the predominant monsters that Godzilla has befriended and fought against in the past. At the moment, I'm fighting as King Ghidorah against Megalon. King Ghidorah is Godzilla's main antagonist, if you want to argue as that. Basically, every time Ghidorah comes around, Godzilla's pretty much guaranteed to destroy the city trying to kill him. He's got various attacks and stuff. They're pretty hard to do in this game, though. But, like Godzilla, who's got a breath attack, Ghidorah's breath attack's actually lightning that comes out of one of his three heads. But as some people may or may not know, there's actually several incarnations of King Ghidorah, as there's several incarnations of Godzilla. He is a very intimidating antagonist for Godzilla. He's actually come close to killing Godzilla on several occasions. But yeah, as you saw, I just kicked ass with him, pretty sure I did. So yeah, anyway, that's enough about that. And the Megalon guy, he's another monster who was actually enhanced to have visuals on his arms. In one of the movies, he allied himself with another creature called Gigan to try and kill Godzilla and Mothra. At the moment now, I'm fighting as Rodan against Godzilla. Rodan's basically a giant pterodactyl. His color scheme is debatable, like it's seen as gold sometimes, and other times people see him as red. He was one of the first characters that Godzilla encountered. Later on, actually becoming one of Godzilla's friend sort of characters, because in some of the universe, Godzilla made friends with some of the monsters he fought against. And in several occasions, Rodan has protected Godzilla's son, Minilla, which is kind of a cool thing. Because Godzilla being a very overprotective parent and stuff, he'd really trust anyone going near him. But Rodan has a couple of special attacks too, like he can do sonic breath and that sort of thing. Unfortunately, I haven't seen too many movies with him, but I do love the design of him. Actually, next year I'm considering cosplaying one of the kaijus from Toho, and he was one of the designs I was considering, but I later scrapped him because I was favouring Ghidorah and Gigan at the time. But chances are I'll probably end up doing Gigan, because Ghidorah, as much as I'd love to do Ghidorah as a cosplay, it'd take too much work for me to do. I just killed Godzilla with Rodan. And Gigan's, more body shape than what Ghidorah is. Yeah, so yeah. This game, talking about this game really freaking sucks. Like, the game's alright, but it's just the controls are so bad. Like, you got your you got your two main buttons, A and B, and they basically your attack buttons. Then you got a jump and a block button, which are your shoulder buttons. And there's no distinct move list with this. You're basically experimenting around to see what is what. So yeah, as you may notice just then, I've switched up to 4 monster fight, just to make things a bit more interesting. I'm playing as Megalon. I explained him a bit earlier. I think he's also got lightning abilities, this guy. But yeah, he's pretty cool. The thing that I first noticed about when I started watching the Godzilla films, like the older ones, is, and it's going to probably sound like an insult to it, but I'm actually saying it as a compliment, but it really reminded me of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers when I first saw it, like the Megazord fight scenes and that sort of thing. But if I was to compare it, if I was to see which one was better, I'd have to say Godzilla is definitely better. There's just so much more that they do with the suits and all that sort of thing. They actually did homage it. They did homage Godzilla and King Kong in the old live-action film Street Fighter in one scene. A god-awful movie as people say it was. I actually enjoyed Street Fighter. But yeah, there's actually a funny scene that I keep cracking up on every time I see it. It's basically when the AN invades Bison's base, and okay, I didn't know what the old Godzilla did then. But yeah, basically what happens is the AN invades Bison's thing, his base, and they hack into his security system, and they find film footage of Zangief and E Honda wrestling on this giant city model that Bison has, and the audio's been replaced by King Kong and Godzilla, and it's just so freaking hilarious to see the Japanese soldiers' reactions to this. But yeah, I digress. Okay, I've killed 2 of them. Now I've got to fight Mothra. A lot of people don't understand. Like, I could understand why a few people don't think that Mothra would belong in some of the Toho monsters, but I actually love Mothra. Not for the fact that she is rather a gentle creature compared to the rest of the Toho Kaiju, where they're pretty much anything gets in the way, we destroy it. And Mothra actually does take care in protecting things, like she has a good rapport with humans and that sort of thing, to the point where humans actually worship her as a goddess in several of the movies. In one occurrence, like, there's actually several incarnations of her as well, like different Mothras. I just killed her. But yeah, she is by far, in my opinion, the most calm and passive monster out of a lot of them. And I do love her design. She's very, like, despite being a moth, she has very elegant looking wings, and I admit she is very delicate looking, but there's also that whole beauty thing in it as well. And I'm pretty sure she was one of the key influences for Butterfree in Pokemon. People are like, "Duh," but yeah. But it's not the first time that Pokemon actually did homage kaijus in the Japanese films. I believe Squirtle actually homages the monster Gamera, which is a giant tortoise. To the point where they mimic one of his attacks, one of his things. When Squirtle does Hydro Pump, he sucks his body parts into his shell and spins using water. Those that have seen the Gamera films would also know that Gamera flies using similar technique. He flies by rotating in the air with all his body parts withdrawn, and he spews fire out of the holes. But I digress. Yeah. Other than that, I'm aware that there's a 60th anniversary movie coming out this year, and I'm looking forward to it a great deal. Because it's not only going to be done by the Toho company, but it's also going to have Legendary Films working on it. They're going to have Kentaro Watanabe, who's known from Last Samurai and The Dark Knight, a couple other films. He's a great Japanese actor, but he's going to be in it. And I haven't seen him in a lot of roles in the last couple of years, other than like Batman Begins and stuff. But yeah, he's pretty talented, and, you know, pretty nice guy from the interviews and stuff you see of him. And I did not know that I could grab buildings in this. This is bloody awesome. It's like, here, Megalon. Oh my god, it hit. Oh yeah, no, poop. Mechagodzilla sucks in this game. Like, granted, this game is quite fun, and I may be complaining a little bit, but I am actually enjoying this game. It's just the controls are a bit skew-if. Yeah, I'll probably have one more maybe one more match, and I'll see how I go. Maybe one or two, depends. But yeah, I'm gonna play Mothra. It's a bit weird, but I love Mothra. Like, despite her being like one of the most passive and gentle creatures in the Toho monsters, and she doesn't seem to belong that much, but in a way, she is one of my fan favorites. Just because she's so beautiful looking, and I know it's weird saying it about a giant insect, but her design is very beautiful and elegant. And compared to most of the other kaijus that Toho's made, she's one of the most delicate looking things, but she's got a fair amount of power as well. She's relatively gentle. She gets along with humans to the point where they actually worship her as a goddess of tranquility. Which actually makes me a bit disheartened every time I see her getting like hurt or knocked down, because she's really caring and compassionate. It's weird saying it about a bug, but yeah. Yeah. She's also one of Godzilla's best allies and stuff, after they befriend each other. Not as much as Rodan or some others like that, but she does have humanity's interests at best. She did have an evil brother in one of the movies, and he was the opposite. He wanted to destroy mankind and stuff because he saw the cruelty and stuff that they were doing onto the earth. In a way, they're kind of like the pro and con for humankind. But yeah, she's kind of nice. She's definitely one of my favorites, along with Ghidorah and Godzilla naturally. Other ones I like is Rodan, obviously. And I think I spoke about cosplaying about them a bit earlier. And I just died. Ghidorah does not like Mothra. Anyway, this is basically going to be it for the video. I'm actually play this a bit more off camera, but it's a pretty fun game, despite the bugs in the controls and stuff. But yeah, I was doing this since I'm a Godzilla fan. Doing this as a minor homage, that sort of thing. But yeah, keep an eye out for the other one-shot videos I'm going to be doing. And yeah, anyway, this is Cosomut, and this is Godzilla Domination.